Hey y'all, it's Shama of the Yarn This Podcast. Jessie's Girl 84 on Ravelry, Instagram, and Twitter. I am behind on my Vita because I was out of town Wednesday until late Friday, and I didn't realize it when I left, but I didn't have Wi-Fi until I got home late in the day on Friday and I was worn out. But I have some plans and I'm going to get caught up here, and so while technically not every single day, from here until the end of the month, I don't plan to miss any more. Anyway, I'm back from being out of town, and today I think I'm going to talk to you about what I like to knit. I've talked to you about when I started and why I started, and I told you that I started because I thought my boys needed a Harry Potter scarf. Well, I'm going to show you one. This is not one of the originals. As a matter of fact, the originals were not the right shade. They were horrible yarn, and so they're gone. I'm sure I threw them away ages ago. But I guess it was about, I don't know, 3 years later that I had to have surgery, and while I was in the hospital, I decided to knit them some actual really nice Harry Potter scarves. So here's one of them. I'm only going to show you one of them, but this was one of the original good ones that I knit, and it's folded in half. So I don't really like to knit scarves. I do occasionally knit scarves. I prefer shawls. Of course, you saw a lot of the stuffies I have, and I've knitted a lot of stuffies for my nephews and my niece. I've knit hats. I love to knit hats. But I love to knit socks. That's one of my most favorite things, and I wanted to from the beginning, but it was a while before I had my self-confidence and found my niche with sock knitting. I showed you my first pair the other day, but I've changed a bit since then as far as I use sock weight yarn now, and I love themed socks like Harry Potter and Doctor Who, and I love seasonal socks, holiday type socks. So I brought a few pairs just to show you what I've worked on. This is one of my favorite pairs right here. It's my TARDIS socks. Now initially they were a lot taller. They went way up my leg. More like the number of panels that are on the door of the TARDIS. But when I finished my first sock, I decided to try wearing it, just vacuuming the house to see, and it just kept sliding down and sliding down and sliding down. So I decided to rip it back, and I ended up getting a much shorter sock, but it fits me better. And so this is my TARDIS sock. I love these socks just because of what they represent. Ooh, and Doctor Who comes back next week. Yay! Okay, so there's my TARDIS. There are my TARDIS socks, and I do have some other Doctor Who inspired socks that I didn't bring any of those with me. I'm just going to give you a little sampling. My friend Kim that I've spoken about dyes yarn, and she had dyed up some yarn that one sock would be Gryffindor, the other would be Slytherin. So this is my Gryffindor striped sock, which I just absolutely love. And in case you haven't realized it, I have man-sized feet, giant feet. Gryffindor and Slytherin. I bought some yarn from another friend of mine that dyes yarn. It was when she very first started dyeing, and it's called Unicorn Apocalypse. I had to have it because unicorns are my favorite animals, and it's very sparkly, which I love. Well, I started knitting a pair of socks, and I just kept messing up, and finally I decided, enough, I want to use this yarn. So I frogged, and for those of you who aren't knitters, frogging means ripping out your project. Rip it, rip it. That's where frogging came from, and I wanted to use this yarn, so I did, and I knitted a Gilmore Girls inspired sock. Here's the pattern. Isn't it the prettiest pattern? I love it. It was simple and quick and just beautiful, and here is that amazing yarn. I don't think you can fully, yeah, you can see it's sparkly. You can't fully appreciate just how sparkly, but these are my Gilmore Girls socks. I just knit these in the fall, I think. Here are some Okay, do you see this yarn right here? This cube right here is filled with a certain kind of yarn called Felici from a company called Knit Picks, in case you're not a knitter. And this was my Halloween Felici that I bought several years ago, and it was quite a while before I actually knitted it up. But here it is, candy corn. I love these socks too. I think that was the colorway name, and that's just what you call a vanilla sock. It's just knitted. It's nothing fancy, just knitted. I'm going to hurry through these because I don't want this to be very long. I have another friend named Stacy, and she has a company named Brazen Stitchery. You see this right here? Her friend and partner Penny dyed this one. Well, this is another striped yarn, and it's called You'll Shoot Your Eye Out. Well, I love A Christmas Story. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies, and it's sparkly. And so these are just plain, again, plain vanilla socks. But this is You'll Shoot Your Eye Out. I love these socks. I didn't finish them until after Christmas. Not this past one, but the one before. But I wore them for a while after Christmas because I just had to, because they're amazing. Now this past Halloween, Kim, my friend Kim, did a sock blank, and it was just abstract. And when she got through, she was really disgusted with it because the black dye kind of seeped places she didn't want it to. But I bought it from her. I said, I love it. And I call these my Bad Moon Rising socks. And here's what they look like. So there's yellow and purple. The purple's a little difficult to see. Let's see. Here's a little bit right here. And it's another sparkly yarn. In case you didn't realize, I love sparkly. Because I think a day without glitter isn't a day. And here's my other Bad Moon Rising sock. Because you knit down a sock blank, unless it's done to match, they're not going to match exactly, which is great. I love that. So this is my other one. And the last pair of socks I'm going to show you are some that I dyed myself, and I just knit them for this Christmas. And I saw somebody with some socks that were dyed similar colors, and I took another one of these sock blanks right here that I had, and I just kind of went willy-nilly with it in lines, but some of the dye seeped into some of the other lines, and it was uneven, and this is what I ended up with. I do really love these socks. I love the colors. I love how it came out. They don't have to be Christmas at all. It's more of like an old-fashioned color. Something looks weird there. Anyway, but I wanted to show you quickly my 3 biggest projects I've ever done. The first one was when my older son graduated from her homeschool, and we all love Harry Potter, so I decided to knit him a Harry Potter blanket. And what I did was I just went through and got different little patterns, and I made up a couple myself, and I made this blanket. Now the lighting was not very good, but you can kind of see. I did the death mark right in the center. Dark mark, I'm sorry. What did I say? Death mark? Dark mark. This is a Quidditch one, and I designed this one. His initials right here. I did all the different house scarves. This is like a Unity scarf right here. Mad Eye Moody. And each corner is the house, oh, I can't think of that word. Anyway, I almost thought of it. So this is the Harry Potter blanket. It's a pretty good sized blanket. Then when my younger son was going to graduate, at the time he really liked Doctor Who. So I decided to make him a Doctor Who blanket. Well, in the process of making it, he decided he didn't like Doctor Who anymore. And I was pretty far into it, at least halfway, if not further. And I decided, well, I'll just keep it for myself then. So this is the Doctor Who blanket. This is by far the biggest thing I've ever knit. It hangs off both sides of my king-size bed. So there you see 10 and Rose and 11 and Amy, And I used a cross stitch program and a picture of them, and that's what it came up with, and I did it in black and white and gray. And then the rest of them, this came from an old Doctor Who knitting book that I bought off eBay. It's been out of print. This one says Wibbly Wobbly Timey Wimey Stuff. I kind of designed that one. Cassandra's face is right here. And I found one, but the BBC had made the person take it down, so I just kind of came up with my own. Here's the fez, and that's another one I came up with. But the rest of these, it's kind of hard to see some of them unless I don't want to show you every single square. And that's what I did. I started at the top, and I knit my way down. Oh, Starry Night, because that's my favorite episode and my favorite painting. So that's my biggest project so far. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was there's a project called the Scoreboard Knit Along. And it starts every fall, and people knit a scarf or a cowl for their favorite football team. It can be professional or college or even your high school team, I would suppose. And what you do is you take both of the colors and say your home team, you pick what color you want for your home team, and then the other color is going to be the visiting team. So if your team scores 5 points, or I'm sorry, like 6 points at the beginning of the game, you knit 6 rows. And then when the next team scores, you knit however many points they scored, that many rows. So if your team scored 20 points in a row, you'd knit 20 rows. If it was a shutout and your team got all the points, you would just knit those on. And then I took a color and divided each game. So we love Peyton Manning, and I knit my husband a Broncos cowl. It took till Valentine's Day, but this is him wearing it doubled. This is him wearing it just hanging. He's 6'3", and it just about touches the floor on him. So I really, really did enjoy doing that project, even though it kind of took a good bit of time. Here it is before I joined it together. You can't even see both ends, but it goes a long, long way. Anyway, those are a few of my favorite things to knit, as well as, like you've seen the toys. Oh, I forgot about this. This one shawl I knitted. It's really more of a shawlette, and it is a TARDIS shawl. A friend of mine gave me the yarn. You can see the shawl, the TARDIS right here. It's called the Bigger on the Inside shawl. You see it? And at the top where the light is, it's got a bead. And then up here it's just this lace pattern. But I do love this shawlette. It's another one. And I knitted this for the Olympics one year. Anyway, I just wanted to show you some of my favorite knitting things to do. And I guess that's all for today. I think tomorrow, or for the next video, I'm going to talk about my weight loss. I'll talk to y'all later. Oh, I forgot to say, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.